Hello.
Welcome to another episode of The Pulse. Well, another episode of the Neoliberal
Uh-huh.
podcast. Welcome to another episode of the Neoliberal podcast. I'm Renaldo McKenzie, your host and creator. And with me is the executive producer and the host and anchor of a brand new series that we have here on the Neoliberal Round, The Pulse. It's Ricardo McKenzie. Ricardo, my twin brother, welcome to the show.
Hi. Good to be here again.
Hi, and yes, this is The Pulse with Ricardo and Renaldo McKenzie. And let's play the intro music. And Ricardo, fresh off his trip from California, Indian Wells. Of course, we're going to be talking about Wendy Williams, Indian Wells, government shutdown averted thanks to 9 Democrats and Chuck Schumer. Oh my, what does Ricardo Paulus have to say about that? That's coming up. And we're going to discuss Ricardo's latest article. The latest article, and I don't know what it's entitled. What's the latest article entitled?
The opinion piece about Trump destructive for America. Pretty much.
Yeah, I can't remember it's actually in the Neoliberal, but we're going to talk about his article. It's a bombshell article. It's a powerful article. We're going to share it. Actually, let me see if I could bring it up here real quick for you. It's okay. I actually have it here. It's entitled "Dear Editor, Trump's Leadership: Destruction Without Solutions." We will share that with you. It's available in the Neoliberal Journal. It's at theneoliberal.com. We're going to talk about. We also want to talk about tariffs. Because in the article you reference tariffs a little bit. We want to talk about those. In my book, I talk about tariffs. We're going to talk about those, the Department of Government Education. Potential cuts to Medicare, Medicaid, and medication. And then, I don't know if there's anything else that I'm leaving out. Hi, Ricardo. Welcome. Welcome back.
Well, it's good to be back on the show. It's good to be back from my vacation. Well needed rest. Did a lot. Went to watch a lot of tennis. It was great.
Uh-huh.
So it's great to have a lot to say about that. Yeah, it's for those people who don't watch tennis and or don't follow tennis, this may not be important, but it might be a way in which to understand large events or big called Grand Slams, a big tournament with lots of money, millions of dollar backing, earn lots of money. Top athletes are there. It's fantastic, but nothing is perfect. So I have a lot to say about that. They have a lot of drawbacks in this type of setting. Like if you compare to the U.S. Open, Indian Wells, they want to be a Grand Slam, but they don't have the space, or most importantly, the parking arrangements in New York City. The good thing about New York is that we have mass transit, so people can get in and out and get there without having to worry about parking. One of the issues that we face here at Indian Wells was I felt like people have to find parking. By the time they get parking spot, they have to try to get in. So, I realized that a tournament like this is limited, and there's no way they can compare themselves to the U.S. Open because of that. And they also don't have the space. Smaller, yeah.
Okay. All right. So you said you did go to the U.S. Open.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, U.S. Open. You did go to Indian Wells.
Mm-hmm.
I asked you a question. How many persons look like you was there?
Oh, I went there maybe 5 days, and I feel like not many. In fact, one of the ladies when I was inside Stadium 1, which is the bigger, they have Stadium, which is the top. Stadium 1, Stadium 2 is the premium stadiums. And I remember I walked outside and I was going to come back inside. And usually supposed to show you tickets again. And she was just like, I mean, I don't even think there was any black person in there or anyone that looks at me there. She's like, oh, I remember you. You could come back. You don't have to join line. You can come right through here. Because there weren't many people like me there. So it was easy for her to pick me out and say, go right on up. Because I probably may have been the only person that looked like me on that day during the tournament. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
So it
you did
lacked
have
that
some,
it
but
lacked
you
a lot
did
of
have a
empathy.
negative experience. You did have some kind of, you did say that you had a, a kind of negative experience there at Indian Wells.
I mean, it lacked diversity and it needs that. And I feel as though that's one of the drawbacks. I remember with Serena and Venus Williams, they said they weren't going to go back because they experienced some kind of racism there many years ago, and so that's one of the reasons why they haven't won a lot of times there. Because if you look at their record, they haven't been there a lot. I know they offered Venus Williams a wild card this year, and she was reluctant to accept it. And I'm like, why would she want to accept a wild card there? You know, she had a very bad experience in her tennis career, you know, going there. And so they said they would never play. Serena Williams since went back there once. Venus went there once since, maybe on their 20th anniversary. And I could see why, even though she went back once, I think it still had some scars that weren't healed because of that. And I could see that when you go there, you just feel like there is not a lot of presence or place for a certain kind of people there. And so that's just the experience, you know. That's
She
what
was
it is.
supposed to, Venus was supposed to be at Indian Wells. I understand she was offered a wild card, but what happened at the last? But did she at the last minute she declined it?
Well, she thought that she said she had other stuff planned, and so she wasn't going to be able to make it. I mean, this is a premier event. This is like the fifth slam, one of the top premier tournaments. So the fact that you were offered
Why is Venus Williams still playing tennis?
because, well,
I mean, first of all,
what do you mean? Why
I
is she
mean,
still playing tennis?
why
Is
is
she
she
still
still
playing?
playing tennis?
Is she still playing tennis?
I mean,
I mean, that's the question. I mean, she's still active on. There are many people who are active and retire, like
she
maybe
okay. Oh, she's not active.
she is active, but I'm just saying, is she actually playing? We don't know.
She okay.
So, so she
We don't
could
see her
still be.
we don't see her anywhere. We don't see her at the Grand Slams. And if she do show up, she's out in the first round. She's in her 40s. She's been battling injuries. Why can't she retire? What does it take for her to retire?
Well, I feel like it's her prerogative. She put in the time in her career, in her life, and so if she retire on her own accord. A lot of times, I think people are putting too much emphasis on this. I think people should be given the respect to make their own decision in life, and I feel as though we don't allow people to be themselves or make or as much. We want to put a label on them or tell them to do what they should do. I mean, it's her life, it's not mine. So if she wants to be active because she's allowed to be active because she was top ranked and she dropped out of the top 1,000 or whatever, it's her prerogative. It's her life, and I don't think people should live other people's lives for them. I don't think it's right. So if she wants to do it, regardless of what you think, it's her prerogative. That's what I believe.
I mean, I understand it's her prerogative, but this game is about fans. I guess she still have her fans. People are still paying money to watch her. So I guess, I mean, if she's, I mean, although we don't see her, we only see her on social media and so on.
Paying
Anyways,
money to watch her. She's not playing. Why are they paying money? They're paying money to watch other people. If she does show up, a lot
yeah.
of her fans are going to go. Like I thought she was going to go, and I was excited to get a ticket because I'm going to go to Indian Wells. I was like, yes, Venus Williams going to be there. Granted, I don't know if she's going to play well. Maybe not. She probably will lose in the first round, but I don't care. I want to see her play for one last time because with
Well,
Venus Williams, you're going to get excitement. You're going to get grunting. You're gonna get everything, even if it's for one last time, even if it's 6-1, 6 love. You know Venus is gonna put her heart on the line and she's gonna fight. She's gonna fight.
I
And
guess
I'm
she's
gonna be the
defined.
stand
She's
screaming.
defined. Well, I mean, it's this is the only sport where you can be a professional player and a professional player and haven't been and don't play.
That's not
Um,
true. Golf is the same way.
yeah.
Yeah, basketball. You could just say you're a professional player, but you don't have to play. So you are part of the league, but you're not playing because you're injured or some whatever reason is. It's not just she's already earned the right to say I can golf once you've won
Yeah, but
certain
for
tournaments.
that's people who are doing well and playing. Listen, she's washed up.
Ronaldo,
She's wait.
when
She's a grand. She's a dinosaur. She's a dinosaur. She's washed up. If you're in your twenties or early twenties, a young player, yeah, we understand that. But you've played, you've won. You're struggling to win to even stay beyond the first round. She goes out in the first round of every match. She's
that's not true.
battling with injuries. Her
That's not
sister
true,
had
by the way.
retired. I mean,
That's not true.
is she
She
trying
doesn't
to
go
be
out in
the
the first
oldest
round.
person to
When
have
she
ever
played
played
2 years
tennis?
ago, she didn't go out in the first round. She actually won a couple first round matches. All right. And a lot of players in the world who play today, they can't get past the first round. In fact, so you know what? If she would go
Venus
to the
Williams was my favorite player, so I'm telling you, and you know that. See,
yeah,
I was not a Serena fan.
I was. I was.
You were. I was the Venus fan.
Yeah.
So and I just feel, and yes, I feel as though she is betraying her closest fan. You're not a Venus. I mean, yeah, you appreciated Venus. You were always Serena.
No,
Okay.
no, no.
Yes.
I I'm a
Yes.
William
Yes.
sister fan. I'm a
Yes,
William
yes,
sister
yeah,
fan.
but I
But
was always a Venus Williams fan, and I believe she has betrayed her fans, and it's as if she couldn't care less. Okay, I believe she is at certain point. You've done your job. We should need to retire gracefully.
not just all of her fans feel that way. You're one fan who feel that way, but there are other fan members who don't want her to retire. A lot of people don't want Serena. In fact, people are still hoping and praying that Serena will come back.
Ricardo,
Okay,
Venus has retired. She is behaving as if she's a retired
she
retiree.
said if she retires, no one will ever know. So you don't know.
So, oh, maybe she's
Like I
okay.
said, I
Yeah,
don't care.
Ricardo, guess what? I know. I know she's retired.
I don't
And
care.
then whenever you see her playing, those are featured
That's,
matches.
I don't care. Why is that important to you? Why is it important to you if she's retired or not?
I mean, she's retired because but she should do it how professionals do it. They announce it. Okay. Anyways, moving from Venus Williams
Yeah.
to, well, wow, I shouldn't. Actually, it wasn't supposed to be Venus Williams. It's Wendy Williams. Oh, why are we
Well,
talking
both
about Venus
Williams. In
Williams?
fact, people always see Serena or Venus. People would see Wendy Williams and say, "Hi, Serena. Hi, Venus. You did so well." She mentioned that one time that people would call her, and I was like, I think it's a total disrespect because they look totally different, and they're
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. So people would say that to her.
I need to check because Ricardo, I am incensed about what I'm hearing about being Wendy Williams.
Mm-hmm.
There is a story about Wendy. Let me see if I can find it. Wendy Williams. I am really incensed by the story concerning Wendy Williams. Wendy Williams to undergo additional neurological tests after former talk show host. Well, one day ago, MSN reports that she's going to undergo tests, but she was outside her window, acting berserk. And but I understand I finally saw a picture of her caretaker, this Caucasian lady. Her family is completely shut out. They're treating her as if she's a prisoner. Someone who had a psychological disorder is treated as if she's a prisoner, locked away, throw the keys away. Okay, and her family can. Part of her treatment, part of her recovery, part of treating people who are dealing with the issues she's dealing with is allowing her family, her loved ones to be around. I thought her son was taking care of her. That obviously he's not part of the picture. That is absolutely ridiculous. What do you think about what's going on with Wendy Williams, Ricardo?
Um, I really don't know much. It's sad. I really love Wendy Williams. I've been watching her for many years. From she was on radio, I was driving to school back many many years ago, and she was on the radio. Then when she announced her show, I watched her talk show to the point when she fainted in her studio show on TV. That was shocking for me. To the fact that she lived in New Jersey. My company actually worked with her on a project. She always talked about she was very family oriented. She loved her son Kevin and her husband, and then she found that her husband was cheating on her, really took a big toll on her, What I'm more concerned about is her son and how this will affect him because he was evicted. He got eviction from in 2022 from his apartment, and I was like, his mother's a millionaire. How is it that he's evicted from his apartment, and then and not again in 2025 he got eviction notice because the court has put his mother's financial situation. It's managed by the court, so of course he's not getting any help from his mother because the court is taking over her finances, and so the son has to suffer. So it's really sad, and I really think it's wrong. He is of age. He's an old he's like he's over 18. He should be responsible for his mother, and I don't understand
I
why.
don't know why they are treating her as if she is a criminal, okay, and putting her in a psychiatric hospital, and treating her as if she's a criminal. Her niece took her out the other day for dinner, and they called the police. They called her guardian, called the police, okay? Who I do not understand why and how. By the way, there's a story on MSN. Here's a story on MSN. Here it says Wendy Williams to undergo additional neurological tests after former talk show host defiantly tells The View she wants to move on from guardianship. A story by Greg Evans one day ago. Apparently, she was on The View. Former talk show host Wendy Williams called in for an interview on The View this morning. She called in, speaking passionately about her recent travails of life in a memory care unit that made headlines when she went out to dinner with her niece and may or may not have had permission to leave the assisted living facility. Paparazzi had greeted Williams when she returned to the facility after the dinner excursion. Williams said she also visited a hospital for an evaluation and to have blood drawn her thyroid condition. Williams says the dinner excursion was within the rule of the memory care unit, but was told upon her return that it was not. The situation was the latest incident in which Williams had publicly insisted that she did not need to live in a memory care unit and in fact wanted a new guardian and a new judge in the case that landed her in confinement. So the judge, let me tell you what happened. Um, when and we have the Neoliberal Round podcast, and myself and Dante, we've been reporting on this. You can go to the Neoliberal journals. In what she had her money in Wells Fargo, and apparently they were saying that her money was being taken out of Wells Fargo. They closed it. The bank went to a judge, that is, and somebody need to investigate Wells Fargo and the judge. I feel like I'm talking like Donald Trump now to see if there's any collusion between the judge and Wells Fargo. Okay, because they are the one that started all of this. The situation was the latest incident in which Williams had publicly insisted that she did not need to live in a memory care unit. Williams reportedly has been diagnosed with dementia and aphasia. While she had said in the past that she suffers from substance abuse issues, she told The View today that she no longer drinks except for one birthday celebration last July. So on and so forth. And there's a long story. She was on The View, I understand. She was on The View, so you guys can watch it when the Williams was on The View. So yeah, so that's what's going on with her, Ricardo. I was about to show it, but I don't think I don't want to belay the issue. What do you think about this whole thing?
It's just sad what's going on with her. She was such a figure. We thought she was going to be the next Oprah Winfrey.
Yeah.
Of how good. A lot of people followed her. She had her fans, and now she's. It's crazy that she has one child and She loved her son a lot. What I mean, love him to death. So she talked about this man. He is her everything, and the fact that there was a report where she said that her son was spending her money and she didn't know about it, but it's because she has dementia and she's just suffering, and so she feels that way. But I don't understand. The next of kin should have been her son, who is a power of attorney. She should have gotten a power of attorney. He should have been a power of attorney
for her. Yeah, I completely agree.
And I think she raised him well, and the fact that she doesn't trust him 100% all the time, but he loved his mother, and this is sad. Actually, I think it's really sad that I feel as though who's going to suffer more is her son. Her son was in college, and he dropped out of college. he had a lavish lifestyle. I know he now can't have a lavish lifestyle because his mother used to take care of him. It's an only son. I would want my son, my only child.
Ricardo, I just said to you, I just feel like there's a conspiracy, and you know how I feel about this conspiracy. They're going after famous famous African Americans. This is how they went through Black Wall Street. They're targeting Jay-Z, they're targeting P. Diddy, they're targeting Bill Cosby, targeting what was that, the young woman from Barbados?
Uh,
What's ASAP Rocky? Is it ASAP Rocky? She's ASAP Rocky, ASAP Rocky, so on and so forth. It's quite interesting. It's quite interesting.
I mean, as you know, I mean, if you're a person of color in our world today, especially in America, you know,
Yeah.
a lot of people don't like a lot of certain people don't like when we're successful. When you see that a successful black man. I remember when I was working at Lord and Taylor back in the day, many, many years ago, one of my manager said she would see.
Go ahead. Yeah, I'm gonna share this with you. She was on Wendy Williams was on The View
Wait,
recently.
wait, wait. My boss said that she would see a black man driving, or her husband would see a black man driving, and he was like, "Oh, he's a drug dealer." So they only associate our wealth or wealth of a black man or some black man or an African American person who look like they're doing well. They only attribute it to, they only get that because of drugs. So the thing is that there's a lot of jealousy within when a person of color is doing well in society. They don't like it. If they don't like it, it's like why? Which is why, remember, once Barack Obama became president, our
Yeah,
society changed. That's when our society changed. In this country, the day that a black man became president, a lot of people were upset. And that's why Donald Trump rose to ascendancy in this country, because people were very upset. A lot of people were so upset because how is it that we have a black person? How dare we selected or elected a black man to be president of this country? It wasn't warranted. It's not worth it. He cheated. This happened. That happened. Because nobody, they were very upset. This country changed, like I said, this country changed the day a black man became president. And it goes to show how hateful that this country really is. And I knew it was before because, like I said, when I worked at Lord and Taylor back in the day, a manager of mine came to me and was saying, and had said to me that anytime her husband see a black man driving down the street with like a nice vehicle, they would attribute it to just drugs. Not that this guy worked hard for it or have two jobs or had to do the same process of what they were doing. And so this is why something like this is happening. So if you see someone like being attacked, like Jay-Z, you talked about Jay-Z today being attacked and someone trying to set him up, or other, African Americans in this country who are wealthy and people are trying to discredit them. It's because the fact that anytime you see a successful black man, they don't like that. So they're trying everything in their
yeah.
power to discredit successful black people.
And by the way, and for those of us who miss Wendy Williams, and those of us who are watching who follow this show, you didn't see the video with Wendy Williams. Here is Wendy Williams.
Show icon Wendy Williams has been all over the news, and with differing reports of her well-being swirling around, we thought it's best to reach out to Wendy directly to see how she's doing. So joining us on the phone are Wendy Williams and her advocate, Gina Lisa Monteroso, president of the Connect Care Advisory Group, which helps patients navigate the healthcare system. Welcome, ladies.
Hello.
Wendy, hi there. It's been lovely to hear from you. You've been living in a memory care unit for almost a year, I understand. On Monday, you were taken to the hospital, which you walked to the ambulance, so you're ambulatory, and you were discharged on Wednesday. Well, so why did you go to the hospital in the first place?
Well, I went to the hospital. I was having a little agina, and to go to the hospital. Look, where I live, you know what I'm saying, at this memory unit on this floor, I just needed a breath of fresh air. You know what I'm saying? I needed to see the doctors. So that's why I went to the hospital.
I see.
All
right.
And then while I was at the hospital, I also got blood drawn for my thyroid, Mm-hmm. But most importantly, what I'm saying, being at the hospital, it was my choice to get an independent evaluation on my incapacitation, which I don't have it.
You sound okay to me.
How dare they say I have incapacitation?
Yes.
I do not.
Okay. Anna?
Well, Wendy, this is Anna Navarro. You and your niece, Alex, who we've had on our show, went out to dinner. So in addition to fresh air, you needed good food on Wednesday. How did that go, Wendy?
And well, I thought it was great at first. Alex and the boyfriend, they flew from Miami to New York. They got me at the hospital, and then, with permission from the Guardian, of course, we left the hospital and by amulet, and we stayed here for, I don't know, about an hour, because we knew that we were going out to eat, just to celebrate, life, because, I'm out of coterie for a moment. I'm off that floor for a moment. So we went to Tucci's and we had great lunch, or great dinner. And then when we got back here, when we finally got back here, there was paparazzi, so we stopped, you know what I'm saying? That's what I do. I stopped, I posed, you know what I'm saying? And then these two people, I'm sorry, that's what I do. So then these two people who work here, they're usually gone by like 5 o'clock, 1, and the other one like 7 o'clock, right? They're still downstairs, like they're waiting for me. I'm like, oh my gosh, what is about to happen? It is a locked unit. Like, they have to use keys, the people who work here, to open it, to take the elevator downstairs. I am not permitted to do anything but stay on this floor, the memory unit floor, where the people are 90 and 80 and 70. Look, I'm 60, and I don't even know what a memory unit. Why am I here? You know what I'm saying? Where people don't remember anything. So I stay in the bedroom the majority of the time. Wow. I never go out to eat with them, and I stay in the bedroom. Am I permitted to have, my friend Gina to come visit me? No.
Wow.
She has to get permission.
Wendy, this is Sunny. I have to read this statement because we've referenced your guardian, Sabrina Morrissey.
Okay.
Her lawyer points out that the guardianship was created by a judge who declared you legally incapacitated after a diagnosis of frontotemporal dementia, and says that you have not been kept from your family and that you are receiving excellent medical care. I just need to make that statement. But I have a question that I want to ask you, Wendy, because we've known each other for a long time. You are actually the first person to give me an opportunity on radio. I was your legal eagle on your radio show. So thank you for giving me my start. You're a legendary broadcaster. We know that. You broke the mold. I know you love the work. How do you keep your spirits up when you really are not doing what you love to do?
Let me tell you something, Sonny, and I'm glad that you're talking with me about that. I am a college-educated woman. I'm a globally international person, from radio to television. I've been doing important things all of my life, and these two people don't look like me, they don't dress like me, they don't talk like me, they don't act like me, and I venture to say they will never be me. I need them to, with my knees, get off.
Okay, we stop there. Okay, enough of that. And your reaction, Ricardo, to Wendy Williams' comment on that because I know you're probably not as too. You're probably just learning about all that's going on with Wendy Williams.
I am. It's very sad. It's heartbreaking because I really love Wendy Williams a lot. I don't know if you know. I am a huge Wendy Williams fan. Huge. Like, I remember she came to
our fans, and that's the problem. You guys not knowing. I mean, first of all, I thought it is criminal in terms of the ways in which the system is treating her and her situation.
But what she said was profound. These people
I have a background in case management, in public health, in the helping profession, and this is not how you treat helping professionals.
Renaldo, they don't look like me. They don't act like me. It's very profound. But what she's trying to say is that why are they putting these kind of people who is not from my background, he's not from my race, who doesn't have my interest at heart. That's what she's trying to say. She was trying to make a point there. She was trying to reach out, and there's so many people in the, but there's so many people in the
What is
business.
the NAACP? What about? I mean, and she has a lot of money. I mean, I think she has a lot of money. She has agency. She used to
Not
have.
only that she has a lot of money, but she has a lot of people and friends. People
And
should come out. People should come out. Like that lady that was talking to her sonny on The View. These people on The View, they love her. They talk
she's an
about
attorney.
why are they?
Johnny is an attorney.
Why are they not there? Why are they not in their corner?
I mean, no one has been there to help Wendy Williams. She has helped to launch a lot of people. Even she was on the Breakfast Club. What's his name again? Was saying you helped to launch my. She has helped to launch many people, and she's helped to launch many people's career. But
Even that guy, what's that black
they
guy name?
have not done.
Black guy that was on her show. The black guy that was on her show. I forgot his name. He has his own show now. He was on. I forgot his name. Trump. He was on Trump. He interviewed. He had interviewed the lady that was running for president. I forgot her name. Yeah. God, Kamala Harris, and what's his name on his radio talk show, on his podcast as well.
Yeah.
So there's so many people she helped, and it's just so sad to see her in this condition. I hope that people would come to her rescue and put her in so that she's among people that care for her, really care for her.
I'm telling you, they are whipping you. You can talk, but you can't talk. You have to be careful when I mean, I think they're punishing Wendy Williams. This is punishment. Putting her in a psychiatric ward, throwing away the key. And the statement from her guardian doesn't make any sense because she was out with her sister and they called the police on her.
Yeah.
Saying that she was abducted. She can't even go out with her family and overspend 1 second. She needs permission to go to her. I'm telling you, they are treating her. Her guardian is not her guardian in my estimation. Her guardian is a security officer.
Wow. God, this is why it's good to, when you have a life, it's good to have a power of attorney. When you know that you're going to get sick and something is happening, get a power of attorny immediately.
Make sure your family is involved in your care. Yeah. Don't shut them up because at the end of the day,
everyone, she went the day that she passed her, she just said, you know what, Kevin, I'm going to make you my power of attorney. And then I would say, listen, ABCD, guide him, teach him. This is what's going to happen to your mom. I need you to do ABCD. So you know what? I'm sorry, it's sad, but some of it's her fault. She had that one son that she loved and cherished, and she should have made sure that he was the one. And he should be the one that's responsible for her. He should be her guardian. He should be the one that guide her. And he should be allowed to hire people, fire people, take care of her estate, everything. He should be in charge of it. She had one son. She loved him to death. She loved that boy to death. He should be in charge. That's it.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So, it's sad to hear. All right. So
the next thing is, do you want to take up your article or talk about the government shutdown and how 9 Democrats and Schumer helped to pass the budget, which is going to be for the next 6 months because it's only temporary. It's only this budget that they just passed is only will only fund the government for 6 months. Any comments? Because first of all, there are those who are saying, say for example, Beta or Rook, and he sent me an email earlier today, and in his email he said that he does not agree that the Democrats should have sided that the Democrats should have voted for this bill. They should have used it as, there are those who are saying that they should have used it as leverage because of all of the Donald Trump's cuts, these plans to cut Medicaid and Medicare, they should use it as leverage, and they did not get anything. Actually, the Democrats keep losing.
The Democrats are stupid. We've said that before. We've had discussions about the Democratic Party in this country. They think that they're smart. They think that they're so intelligent. That's the problem why they're in this position today. Starting from that judge who never resigned when Barack Obama told her to resign because she wanted to stay for the first woman president. Okay, all right. They selected they decided to get rid of, to get rid of Biden, and decided to put in Kamala Harris because she was a better candidate. Obviously, we know she wasn't better. And what happened? They lose, and they were, I mean, they were fooling themselves, stating that she was going to win, and she had all this momentum and all this money. Give me a break. If they're not going to nominate Hillary Clinton, why would they nominate a black woman? That makes some sense to me. My mother said that, and my mom was Jamaican American, and she was 80 years old, and she knew that.
What if your song could go from something like this to this?
Nuvia's 24-hour process.
Welcome back. The Senate has less than 12 hours to pass the GOP's government funding bill. So do they have 60 votes? Do they have more? Emily Wilkins is on Capitol Hill with the very latest.
Are going to be able to give Republicans the votes needed to move forward on a 6-month government stopgap bill that would go until September 30th and fund the government. This, of course, happens after Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer came out last night saying that he would support that stopgap. Now, you need 8 Senate Democrats to do so. At this point, we know 2. We don't know who the others are. At the same point, there are a number of Democrats who are very frustrated by this. You know, Schumer's case to them is that a shutdown would be worse than continuing to vote for the House stopgap. He said that that would really open the door for Elon Musk and Doge to come in and make even some more severe cuts to federal programs and federal employees. But listen to Senator Sheldon Whitehouse. We spoke with him to them, and he told us why he is going to be voting no on that stopgap.
We need to, I think, focus on where the real danger is, and the real danger here is this Trump-Musk cabal that is out to break government, destroy agencies, fire thousands of people, ruin government services. Also, they can give data, probably, and tax breaks to billionaires.
Okay. Now, we know that Senator Chuck Schumer and Senator John Fetterman of Pennsylvania are planning to be Democrats who votes for this stopgap, but they need 8 in total, and we don't know who those other 6 are at this point. We've seen Democrats.
Wow. I am in Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and we are learning that Senator John Fetterman is one of the Democrats, the senators, the Democratic senators from PA who voted for this bill. This is quite interesting. Of course, why would Fetterman vote for this bill from Pennsylvania?
Fetterman has been showing more and more agreement with it. He's been on Fox. He supports the Trump administration and what they're doing. I don't know if you've been seeing him. He's all over Fox. He's the one Democrat that they love him because he seemed to support Republican and conservative ideals like the immigration, deportation, and whatever they're doing. But to be honest with you, you don't get anything. When you're going to pass a bill, even though you control the House and the Senate, you need bipartisanship. And so I would not have signed the bill. I would have said no, because they should have worked with Democrats to see you need to be able to get something. They got nothing. What they got nothing. What they got was fear. They fear Renaldo. Donald Trump is already destroying our society by cutting and disrupting stuff. Do you know what this budget does? You know what they said? One Democrat came on TV and said one plan was bad and the other one was worse. The worst one was not passing it, and the bad one was passing it. And I was like, no, you can't go from bad to it. They're both bad. None is better than the other.
Yes.
You're a Democrat. You went to college. You think you're also smart. Donald Trump is smart. You know what he's doing. He just called their bluff. Ronaldo, to be honest with you, the only thing that this budget does is increase the spending of military defense force. But however, it cuts healthcare. It cuts social services. It cuts housing initiatives. So it practically cuts everything. It cuts everything.
Right now, I think that they are having some meetings about the Small Communities Investment Act. They are cutting the small businesses will be impacted. Funding for small communities that benefit from this initiative will be impacted. And right now, there's been several individuals across the state, Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, that serve people that operate programs that help to support low-income families. Right now, their businesses that rely heavily on funding, their businesses are being threatened and are affected right now. I've been threatened, and already I'm being asked to write a letter on behalf of a small business in Philadelphia. I won't call their name because they have a meeting with Senator Street on Monday coming up, and I'm going to say that Chad from the PAMMJ, the medical marijuana. He runs a medical marijuana business that helps to provide licenses to people who are affected by certain mental health or behavioral challenges who need the medication, and they provide the opportunity to get the medical card at reduced costs. And right now, he's telling me he has a meeting on Monday because he's trying. Because although he is a Caucasian man, he's saying that he serves the African American community, low income community, and right now their business are being threatened.
Spooner has no spine. This lady was on MSNBC. Renaldo, he has no spine. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
The Senate just voted to avoid a shutdown with a bill that cuts non-spending by non-defense spending by $13 billion. That's what they voted for. It cuts it by $13 billion. If the government shutdown happened, it would still cut these programs by billions of dollars. It also gives DOGE the authority, the Department of Government Efficiency, led by Elon Musk. It gives him more ability to eradication of funds through DOGE, while intended to eliminate wasteful spending. The centralization of power has sparked. I'm telling you, this is what it does. So he's already doing all of this stuff already. So why are you going to pass a bill and say, you know what? They're in charge. Everything's going to get worse. So and there's going to be election in a year. So, or in 2 years. Let it shut down. I don't care. Or you come with us and you play ball and you promise me as a Democrat that you are
There are people who are predicting, there are those who are predicting a recession. There are people who are predicting a recession.
Renaldo, I had Robinhood. I had money in there, and I shut down my Robinhood account. I literally closed all the money out and put it in a savings account to earn at least 4.5% interest rate. I also have other investments, and I really need to talk to my investor next week to see what my money looks like. What's the difference it was 2 months ago versus this now? I really think I need to take money out and put it into either treasury bills or put it into an account, a high yield savings account, and wait. Because I don't trust our society. I don't trust our economy in this country. I don't trust it because of Trump decision making. The tariffs, unemployment's going to go up. We know that already. Unemployment rate is going to be very, very high. A lot of these people who don't have jobs anymore, they're going to have to find other jobs, right? So what's going to happen? What is going to happen to these people? They are going to have to find other jobs. All right. And this is where we come back to what I wrote in the op-ed about the destructiveness of Donald Trump. Why do you find the need to do all of this that you're doing? Your job is to help America, but you're not American. Everything is self-serving. Okay?
Well, first of all, they are going to arm the police, give them green, right? They are rearming the police, they're going to be tough on crime, yes, tough on people in communities and these areas where you have flare. But let me tell you, I said to people, if you know what relative deprivation is whenever you have high levels of income inequality and poverty, you have high levels of crime and violence. And over the next couple of years, we already have high levels of crime and violence in this country, in pockets of high levels of violence and crime in this country already. Because over the last couple of years, the rich has been getting richer and the poor has been getting poorer. The middle class have been had to carry the burden of this country. And that's what's been going on. And we have to be careful when we make these changes. And at the same time, they are making cuts to agencies, while at the same time they're getting away the welfare, the program that's supposed to help to mitigate and minimize some of the implications, the harsh realities, the harsh consequences of these cuts. You can't be making these cuts, but yet still also planning to cut welfare program that's supposed to be there to help curtail and to minimize and to cushion the harsh blow of what you are predicting based on the changes. He said this, Donald Trump and his government is saying that over the next couple of years, weeks, it's going to be hard. He doesn't want, he's tiptoeing around the issue of a recession. He's trying to tiptoe around the issue of a recession, but it's hard for him to do that.
Yeah, but he's gonna come on TV all the time and act like, oh, I did a research about this recently, and one of the things I said, why can't Donald Trump show more love and kindness? And he comes on TV to justify that. The deep question is, somebody said it really comes down to leadership style, personal belief, and political strategy. Some leaders believe that tough, aggressive tactics are necessary to achieve their goals, while others prioritize unity and compassion. He doesn't have any unity or compassion. There's nothing such thing as unity. Trump's approach has always been about strength, confrontation, and fighting back against those he sees as obstacles. For some, for example, his directness and his refusal to back down are appealing because they see him as someone who challenged the status quo, which makes no sense to me. For others, his rhetoric and actions come across as divisive, hurtful, and even destructive. Politics often involves strategy, and Trump's method has been to dominate the conversation up and through controversy. So he loves controversy and conflict. All right. A truly great leader balances strength with empathy, and he has none of those, making people feel valued while still pushing for change. Maybe the real question is, can someone lead effectively while also showing more kindness and unity? And I think, yes, that's important. But look, let's talk about my op-ed. Donald Trump is not fixing America's problem, Ronaldo.
Yes, Ricardo. And I was looking forward to getting to this.
He's destroying the institution and program.
Hold on, let's don't go too fast. The title of the article is "Dear Editor, published in the Neoliberal." So Ricardo McKenzie is we appreciate the fact that he's going to become more active. But the article, "Dear Editor, Trump's Leadership: Destruction Without Solutions."
So I said Donald not fixing America's problem.
The article.
He's destroying the institutions and programs designed to address them. He claims to be solving issues, yet he offers no real solutions, only dismantling what is already in place. Trump excels at tearing things down, but has no viable strategy for building something better. Remember, we talked about the Affordable Care Act, and people talked about it in his last, when he was president in 2016, and he had nothing better. Instead of simply firing people, why not help them transition into private sector jobs? You're going to get rid of people. Like, if the USAID or other programs are ineffective, should we first identify better alternatives before eliminating them? Because I still don't hear them. Do you hear them, Renaldo?
No, I do. I mean, that's actually a good point. We're not hearing them unless they are. Well, the alternatives is the Department of the Marco Rubio's department.
What's that?
The Secretary of State.
Oh, that's spineless.
Department of State.
I'm sorry. Who? First, I'm going to write another op-ed. It's going to be like, can Trump do no wrong? I've never seen anywhere in our society, even me, if you're a leader, where no one can challenge you, everything you do is perfect. That's a problem. If you are not, people are not allowed to judge you. I watch Fox, and every single move he makes is perfection. He is God. No one is God. The only one that's perfect in our society is God. When God moves to the right, everything he does is perfect. And Donald Trump is no God. And you're calling Donald Trump God because every move he makes is perfect. That's a problem. And America needs to wake up. Anyway, Trump excels at tearing things down, but has no viable strategy for building anything. We talked about that. If the USAID or other programs are ineffective, shouldn't we first identify a better alternative before eliminating them? Okay, his leadership is driven by vengeance and resentment. Perfect, Ronaldo. A dangerous formula for national decline. We talked about Rome, you and I, before, how Rome declined internally. All right, if somebody talked about it, Ronaldo, you and I were talking, somebody mentioned this. Paul also mentioned this to me. Paul? He mentioned this to me before, Ronaldo. A president of this country many years ago talked about America decline. And how if it's going to be declined, it's going to be declined internally by its own people. That's what it said.
Yes.
The president said it. It was scary when I read that article. So Trump.
But that's been the history of almost all great.
Yes.
Nations, all
Yeah.
great civilizations. That's
Yes.
what has, um,
Division.
yes,
Division. This
they have,
country is during all of this country is built on unity. Even though we have the Civil War and all that stuff, we realize that's why we call ourselves America, the
yeah,
United
yeah,
States of
yeah.
America. And we united we stand, to divided we fall. Remember that song, Ronaldo?
Yeah.
United we stand, divided we fall. And if our back should ever be against the wall, we'll be together forever, you and I. Remember that?
Yeah, yeah, I remember that song. That's quite interesting. Yes.
Yes. So that's what we're realizing in this country. All right, anyway. So we talked about the vengeance and we talked about resentment. Despite being taken advantage of at times, right? The United States we're talking about here still remains the wealthiest and most influential nation in the world.
Well, hold on. Before you said that, you made a point in the preview. You said that if we approach challenges with wisdom and compassion, we might find real solutions. I don't think we can't gloss over that.
Oh,
If
that's
you said that Trump's leadership is driven by vengeance and resentment, a dangerous formula for national decline. You saw he actually went to the FBI headquarters. Was it yesterday or the day before yesterday? He went. Well, hold on. Sorry, the Department of Justice. He went to the Department of Justice. He went on a tour. His newly confirmed department pick for the Attorney General took him on a tour, and then he gave a speech. And in the speech, he was clearly going after those people who he are now saying was on a smear campaign. Of course, I believe, the people who we believe were going on a smear campaign, they were doing I'm quite sure they believe that they were doing their jobs. And if he believes that they were being on a smear campaign, it wouldn't be these professionals, it would be the politicians who instructed them to carry out their job, or they're going to be terminated. So now that's what I'm saying to you. They are caught between a rock and a hard place. Donald Trump angst is misplaced to be going after these bureaucrats, career technocrats
Ronaldo.
who work their lives. If anything, if they went after him for being
It makes you wonder, huh? It makes you wonder if he really had the country's best interests at heart. Wouldn't he lead with more unity and less destruction?
Dangerous formula, yeah. And you said hatred does not lead to progress, it leads to chaos. If we approach challenges with wisdom and compassion, we might find new solutions. That's powerful.
Yeah. Yeah. That is true. It's like this country, we understand that we had a lot of issues back when this country was when this beautiful union was being formed. People came from other countries because this country is a law-abiding country. We don't have to deal with fraud from our leaders, from our, I was talking to this kid in the airport when I was going to Indian Wells recently, and he's from Nigeria, and he said he come from Nigeria because the president is a criminal, and people still voted for him. And he didn't understand that. That's why he came to this country. And then to see that we have a president who's a criminal, who isn't perfect, who has committed so many fraud, and the fact that Americans can still vote for someone like this, he just doesn't understand it. He doesn't understand it.
Yeah,
doesn't. Yeah. He doesn't. If you look at, despite being taken advantage of at times, the United States, I said to you, is the wealthiest nation and most influential nation of in the world. When you talk about that, the U.S. it benefits immensely, Ronaldo, from international visitors, whether they're tourists, students, or business people. They spend money on hotels, restaurants, shoppings, healthcare, education, and more. All of that. All of these people inject billions into the economy every year. Even immigrants who some argue are taking advantage, in quotes, of the system often contribute far more than they take through taxes, labor, and then to entrepreneurship. And you and I have known a couple of those people who actually are, we know what.
What happened to those construction jobs that were left abandoned? What has happened to? I understand that there were some jobs that some sites, some work sites that were left abandoned. There were no workers because many of them were immigrants maybe some of them were undocumented, and many of the ICE came, or many of them are not coming to work because they are the ones that work in these sites. What has been what's the latest with that?
Ronaldo,
How are they dealing with that?
right now, this country's a big country, so you're not going to feel the effects greatly immediately. So some people are walking around and think everything is great, but you're going to feel the effects maybe a couple months. Like I remember somebody said to me, Paul and I would talk all the time, and he would say, America is too big for us to fail. It's too big for us to go into like a world spin, or a black hole. But guess what? However, Donald Trump has put us in a situation where people don't want to come here. People don't want to invest. They're scared. And so maybe you don't want people. Maybe your plan is to turn away from people to come here. But if people are not coming here, it means that your country is not great. It means that
you know what? Wow, you said something, and something just popped in my head. I've oftentimes talked about reputational value.
Yes, if people aren't coming here, but when I talk about we're not great, Ronaldo.
Yeah, but when I talk about reputational value, I talk about reputational value in terms of business. I said when you start a business, the first thing you want to do is develop reputational value. You want to develop credibility. You want to build your brand, develop a reputation. And then and then people want to do business with you when you when you have a kind of the US. I mean, the brand, the US brand has been tarnished in a sense. The US brand is changing. People are nervous, and you said people are nervous to do business with the US. People are nervous. First of all, people are nervous of flying anyways, because, by the way, 2 days ago, day before yesterday, there was another airplane issue. It was a catastrophe. In the US, was it an American? Sorry, I don't know what airlines it was. One of those top airlines. It had 30 minutes into the air. It had to turn around and will go back to the airport because one of the engines started caught on fire. By the time and the people were jumping off, people were on the wings. It was anyway. So people are afraid to travel anyways.
Well, but I traveled, but look at this for now. Let's talk about this. You mentioned a point that we were just reading. How we said you can't. Here's the deal: you can't have your cake and eat it.
Yeah.
You can't. If you are the best, people are going to want a piece of you. In sports, it's the same thing. If you're the best team, people are going to jump through hoops to come to your games. People are going to jump through hoops to come to play for that team because they're the best, right? America has been the best for many years. So guess what? We have an immigration crisis, but it's not a crisis. People from other countries are trying to come here because of the best, because you're the best. The only way you stop the immigration crisis in this country is if we're no longer the best. So maybe Donald Trump is trying to destroy this country so that we're the worst country in the world. So look at this. If you look at it, if people stop coming to this country, whether as tourists, students, investors, or immigrants, it could be a sign that we're losing our global appeal, Ronaldo, which is not good. And that's what's happening. Trump.
You know where they're going now? They're going to Jamaica and to the Caribbean because okay, let us. If all these Caribbean states, if they were to become states,
yes,
that started with strong economies and they start to become more independent. They're no longer going to rely heavily on the US, no longer going to rely heavily on their wealth.
Yeah, because
that's going to be a problem as well. And the countries trying and people are going to want to flock to them. It is not in America's interest for these other countries to do well either.
Renaldo, so that's why sometimes to get something, you have to give up something. It's called economies of scale. You and I talk about it all the time. You and I have been talking about this for many years. We understand nothing is perfect in life. There has to be a drawback. Listen, immigration problem is always going to be an issue. But if it means that our country is still going to be the greatest, we're going to have to deal with it. And Americans need to understand that America's greatness has been tied to its openness, its innovation, and its opportunities for others, even outside.
Well, you know what? But it can't be too open. It can't be too open. It can't be too open.
It's not too open. You and I still had to pay to get to this country. It wasn't easy. You think people have it easy to come here? Our immigration problem.
But actually, I was talking about the immigration issue. But as I said to you, you know what? Part of the immigration issue stems from a larger issue in terms of the racial makeup of this country, the demographics. That's where internationally, in post-industrial countries across the board, the white race has been in decline. When you look
Renaldo, I'm glad you talked about that.
That is true. We talked about that, and of course, that is why they're getting rid of abortion. Okay, sorry, that is why they're against abortion, because who are the people who are aborting the babies? The abortion is okay. And that's part of the problem. You know, they have to preserve the racial makeup of this country, which is part of the soul.
Wait, before you mention that, listen to this. Yes. I like what you're saying, but really quick, I want to say this: the idea that we can be the best but not welcome others contradicts what made this country a powerhouse in the first place. Just so you know.
Well, first of all, but immigration is least of the problem. It's the least of our problem.
But I understand it. But it's one of the stuff. I mean, if you look at what's happening in this country, when people stop coming here, it's going to be a problem, because how many people could start having babies tomorrow and you start to prevent people coming here. You're going to need to solve the labor crisis and the lack of people having.
Fine, you make a very
our
good.
Country isn't attractive. Our policies are too restrictive. Our countries are becoming more competitive. Anyways, let's talk about this. You mentioned something about the whiteness of the country. Wait. Listen,
you make a point. Wait, okay, fine. What you're talking about is a delicate situation. How do you reconcile preserving the majority? How do you reconcile that? How do you try to preserve the majority?
Race is a construct by human beings, and recognize that.
Fine. Yes, Ricardo. So is religion, and that's fine. But
yes, Renaldo, if you look at the stars.
Ricardo. But wait. I'm not finished. But wait, let me. I'm asking you the question, and I'm asking a very good question. And fine. But yes, it's a construct, but that's fine. And until that construct has changed, we are dealt that card. And I'm saying, how do you reconcile the fact that race exists today? There is race, okay, and there are demographics, and there are peoples, and there are cultures. How do you, and a study that was done by SRBI suggests that between 2009 and 2020, a study was done that by 2020, the majority will be part of the minority will be part of the majority. That's part of real fears that people have. And I was part of that study, and they were asking, what will the country look like? Is it going to look like Africa? Is it going to look like Haiti? Is it going to look like, oh my God, people were having those kind of fears. Okay. And that billionaires was putting money behind research, okay, to start. So now the MAGA 2025 is the same, is part of that research that was done from 2009, 2010, 11, 12, talking about this, about the fact that the demographical change in America, the racial change in America. And so now they have to preserve that, but at the same time, immigration and even undocumented illegal immigration has also served to help the US in the sense that it helps to minimize inflation. Okay. It helps to deal with the inflation crisis. It helps to deal with the labor issue in terms of finding certain jobs and so on and so forth. Because instead of you building developing sweatshop conditions in certain countries so that their people can get $3 a day. No, you create the condition here where the lowest people can get $3.50 and then give them social welfare, but minimal social welfare, so that they are pressured to have to go and work $3.50 an hour. Okay.
You know, you talked about that race and the construct. So there's a thought that I had recently that I think I want to put in an opinion piece.
Yeah.
The universe itself thrives on diversity, Renaldo. Every star, every planet, galaxy is unique. Yet they all coexist within a vast, interconnected system, right? I feel like those human beings, each of us are a star. You're a star, I'm a star. We all are stars. There's so many stars in the galaxy. There are more stars in the galaxy than there are human beings on Earth. And so when we talk about race, we have to really stop talking about it. Because the idea of a white race or a black race just makes no sense to me. Because I feel as though we should operate like how the galaxy and how the Earth is. All right? And they all are connected and live together. Just like nature, variety isn't a weakness, it's a strength. And so race is a social construct that has been used to divide people. That's what's going on. Okay, humans are more likely, we're more alike than we're different. And I feel like that's something that we need to start talking about. So when you talk about race in this country, human beings are, their mind is so small. I know I might be veering off topic, but I literally woke up one day and Paul and I were talking about this. And I talked about the idea of planets and the idea of stars, and every star is a part of this universe, and every star is made up of different things and its uniqueness. And if we as human beings realize that whether I look dark or light skin, we're all human beings. Stop talking about how somebody look and want to maintain a race, because we're all a part of this universe. If you look at the stars have to live together, and but we don't know but they still exist. They coexist in this world. We are all coexisting in this world. It doesn't matter what we look like, because every star and planet and galaxy is unique, but they have to coexist. All right, and we have to stop with this racial, which is a construct that's used to divide people. Humans are more like, we're different. Fear often fuels division because people are conditioned to see differences as threats rather than as sources of growth and.
Well, this is some of the things. I mean, this is what I teach. Actually, I teach humanism.
Yeah.
My second book, which is Neoliberal Globalization, Reconsider Neo-Capitalism and Death of Nations. The last chapter, the epilogue chapter. After chapter 12, there's an epilogue. And the title of the epilogue is Reimagining Peoples Within Critical Race Theory. Not thinking race, but moving away from a victim approach to a hero approach. And it's deep. I won't say much about it. And you're along the lines that I've been talking about. Of course,
oh my God, amazing!
And the class I taught yesterday, I talk about the fact that race was an invention. The idea of race came about in the 1500s, just when it came about, it was a theory that was not accepted in academia, but it was relegated to the to the back shelves of academia because it wasn't accepted. It wasn't generally accepted until when they wanted to justify why they wanted to enslave a whole set of people and treat them like dogs. Because first of all, they were civilized people. They were civilized. The Europeans, they were Christians, they were civil. How can these civilized people do such a thing? And how can these merchants, what arguments will they tell the church and their good consciences? The argument, all of a sudden, the theory that was invented in the 1500s, that was in the back shelves, became, all of a sudden, it was elevated to now part of academia. Okay? And I also talk about that in neoliberalism, in my book Neoliberalism.
Renaldo, don't you think it's a shame that so many people see difference as a reason for conflict instead of collaboration? Don't you think so?
Did it again?
Don't you think it's a shame that so many people see differences as a reason for conflict instead of collaboration? Don't you think? What's your thought on that?
No, I don't. I mean, studies show, and I think and even on LinkedIn, there were several studies they were conducting on LinkedIn. I also contributed to a open discussion that they were having just after COVID about diversity and the need for diversity and how diversity helps to strengthen organizations, develop competition. Studies show that companies that have diversity usually last longer or outlast companies that don't incorporate and include and aggressively include diverse programs and activities and people within the boardroom, within the leadership, and so on and so forth. So there's a generally accepted, but what is happening now is that there is much talk, but there's no use for the data. They're being pragmatic. They're pragmatists. They're drawing on the American pragmatic truth. Okay, they only utilize data so long as it serves them. So the information that says that, diversity is important because it helps to develop a unit, a nucleus of people, a group, that's no longer important. Okay, it's shrouded in conversation about the state of emergency that we are in, the fact that America is losing its soul, its whiteness, threatened by the majority is being threatened, and there is nothing else that we can think about. Okay,
wow, I love the fact that you should talk about pragmatism and pragmatic truth, which is came about by, I think it's William James and John Dewey. They talk about pragmatism. And one thing I want to talk to you about is, I wrote this and I said, imagine if humanity embraced. This is what I woke up writing. I wake up in the nights writing all the time. Imagine if humanity embraced the cosmic.
Why don't you publish these, submit these articles so I could
listen to one of the things that I was talking about. Imagine if humanity embraced the cosmic truth. Cosmic, we're talking about the universe here. We're talking about truth, that variety is essential to life itself. Maybe then fear wouldn't have so much power. And that's why Donald Trump was elected, because of fear. But imagine if humanity, because they didn't want a black woman, but imagine if humanity embraced the cosmic truth that variety is essential to life itself. Imagine how beautiful our society would be.
That's true. That's powerful. You've been writing a lot, Ricardo, huh?
Renaldo, I just had just thoughts in my head about our society and what's happening, because it bothers me a lot. You and I died when we were born. We were born, we weighed less than 3 or 2 pounds, 6 months and 2 weeks. They thought we were gonna die. And I've always and there's more to me and to you than just going to work every single day 9 to 5. This is our society today needs people who can just deviate from pragmatism or pragmatic truth for real truth, and recognize that there's more to our society. We're in a universe, we all live in this huge, Ronaldo, the cosmos, it's just vast. You know what? There are more stars. There are more stars than there are people. There are billions of people on this earth. And yet still they coexist. And each of us can represent each star. And that's what we see ourselves, as stars, and not as black or white, but as a star. That makes up this vast universe that has to contribute to your society, to contribute to this universe while you're alive. And when you die, guess what? We are made up of star dust. So instead of seeing yourself as white, seeing yourself as a part of the society, as a star, as a part of a star that was sent down to earth to experience life in its fullness, experience life in a different form. But yet still we're trying to experience life as, okay, the dominant race should be white. No, it's not about being the race. It's just about living in this vast universe. But let's talk about my paperback. In closing, on the matter of cutting costs, if they want to make tough decisions to cut the deficit of 36 trillion, then instead of going after poor and middle class, okay, cutting their jobs and everything, maybe they can ask these billionaires and the top 3% to help. If they really want to make tough decisions, then the people, middle class and poor people don't have an ounce of much left to give. But billionaires have a lot more to give. They will never be poor. Even if they give 1% more, you and I talk about this, maybe they can ask them. There is no way we're going to achieve our goal, or Donald Trump can achieve his goal without getting more from those people. And guess what? This tax cut, they're giving more to these trillionaires and billionaires. Renaldo, why?
They're extending the tax cut. I think, first of all, I feel as though I'm being duped. It's as if you don't know what to believe. I'm hearing that we're hearing that the Department of Government Efficiency under the leadership of Elon Musk was created to help to get rid of government waste, get rid of government fraud, so on and so forth. While at the same time, we're hearing that Donald Trump's 2017 tax cuts for billionaires and for the rich is ending, and he is trying to extend his tax cuts, which amounts to somewhere in the tune of $880 billion. $880 billion. This $13 billion that they cut for social welfare is a drop in the bucket. Why they 808? They're trying to give rich billion extend and trying to give them $880 billion to give these people. But yet still they're talking about the importance of establishing a Department of Government Efficiency to get rid of waste and glut and so on. In order to do what? In order to give billionaires more money. And who is doing it? The same billionaires. And so I stopped and I thought about it. I'm like, this has nothing to do with waste unless they believe in the economic policy, this trickle down economics. Give billionaires money, the opportunity so that they can invest in the economy. That is the conservative ideology, I guess. The belief that the wealthy who control the factors of production, they are always supposed to have more money because they are the drivers of the economy. Because if they are going to create the industry, they're going to create jobs. They're the ones that are going to do the things that will then cause what they call it. It will trickle down economics. What they call it trickle down economics. It will filter down into the economy. It will filter down so that everybody gets it. But over the last years, the very rich have been getting richer. And that has not translated into anything lucrative. If you look at, in fact, the income inequality, the Gini coefficient, which measures the elasticity of income inequality, suggests that income inequality has quadrupled in this country. So I am not understanding why there is a need to want to extend if anything, fine, extend the tax cut, but why give them the same amount of tax cut they got? Cut it in half, give them 400 billion. And so that we can preserve some of the programs and slowly transition. I don't understand. So I feel as though I am being duped. I feel as though I'm being duped. I feel as though I'm being led astray because I was on the Donald Trump bandwagon with all these cuts, and now I'm hearing about these $880 billion cuts that he's giving to billionaires and millionaires, which has not. But yet still they're out there talking, and they're talking on this out to the side. They're talking about to the side of their mouth, the side of the mouth. They're talking from the side of their mouths.
So Ronaldo, tax cuts for the wealthy and giving them money back, it help a little bit. It does. Do you know that?
Okay.
However, in the long term, it creates more income inequality and instability. I was just doing a quick research. It said historically, it shows simply giving billionaires more money through tax cuts or deregulation doesn't guarantee broad economic success. While what it does is temporarily boost the economy, it often leads to increased inequality, higher deficits, and long-term economic instability. Remember, we had that financial crisis during Bush era years when he did the tax cut, and then Donald Trump, and then Barack Obama had to come and increase tax a little bit. More balanced approaches, such as investing in infrastructure, education, and fair wages, have historically proven to create more sustainable economic growth. So the most successful period that we've had since the 1990s, do you know who was president? Bill Clinton. He increased taxes. He raised taxes on the wealthy in 1993, which helped reduce the national deficit and led to a strong economy and budget surpluses. And then he created a New Deal and Great Society programs investing in Social Security, healthcare, and infrastructure, which helped to expand the middle class, creating a long-term economic stability.
Yeah, he did reform social welfare. He created TANF. He changed AFDC and created TANF, which many believe that it was a bit draconian. But anyways, at least we still had social welfare. At least he didn't get rid of social welfare, but it made the requirement a little bit tougher. Bill Clinton, while at the same time he reformed the government. He also reformed the government, but at the same time he wasn't doing it in the ways that Donald Trump is doing it today. Very draconian and making a show of it. I think they're trying to do better now. I think Elon Musk have learned the lesson. He learned his lesson. He thought he was doing something major, going up on stage with a chainsaw, trying to be that. Maybe that's what they do in South Africa. This is the US. Okay.
We've gone to if you look, everything is about history.
Yeah.
They want to cut history and education in this country, cut out the education, but education is important. History is important. You have to look at historical evidence in order to make decisions. You have to look at your past before you could move on. Look at what we've done in the past and how we realize we have, and it's not just a long time ago. You look at the post-World War economy that we've had, 1945 to 1970. The U.S. increased taxes on the wealthy up to 91% on top incomes, by the way. And guess what? You know what it led to? A booming middle class in this country, Ronaldo. Booming middle class. In the 1990s, raised taxes on the wealthy in 1993, like I said to you, which helped the national deficit. We actually had a surplus during the Bill Clinton years. And middle class we had a booming economy, economic stability. Yet still, you feel as though you could come and cut, attack the middle class. If you only have a few people who are wealthy in this society, it's going to create more. You're going to have to create, now they realize that because of what's going on, a lot of people are out of jobs. They need to put more money in defense and the police force and everything like that so they can antagonize people. Because
by the way, what's the latest job report? I didn't get a chance to.
I don't even know. People are going to be poor, people are going to be poor, so what they're going to do, what they feel like doing. People are going to be poor, so you need a stronger legal system. You need a stronger law enforcement system, even though most of these people don't believe in following the law. But what's going to happen when you have a lot of poor people or people who cannot make money like they used to? Is people the have-nots are going to want to have, so they're going to do whatever it's necessary to get their Nike Air and their all of these goods and services that they can't afford. But sometimes you need floss to make changes. You need a fine-tooth brush to make those changes. If you're a painter, you need a little small brush to go between the crevice and the lines. You can't just take a sledgehammer like a hacksaw like he did and just chop out people's teeth. Because if you just cut my teeth out, I'm gonna look crappy. I'm not gonna walk around looking like that. However, if you take a little small little drill like those dentists use and go through and clean between the crevices and fix here or there, they don't need to chop everything down and then you look like people don't want to talk to you because your entire teeth is chopped out. But you need right? You have to look at
that
life.
Is true.
That's the analogy I'm giving you. And so we uncovered a lot today. We talked about sport.
We have covered a lot. Yes, we have, Ricardo. Wow. Thank you guys. Wow, this was intense. Ricardo, you did well. This is Renaldo. I'm Renaldo McKenzie, the host of
Playing from for 5 CG 3071 F52.
This is great. We have a lot to talk about. I want to talk about golf because we had the Players Championship today, and there's a lot of stuff that we could talk about. Like, for example, you couldn't get to watch it on TV. Wait until later in the afternoon to watch it. So Paul and I were very upset. So we decided there's something that we could present and talk about what they're doing in sports where the fans, we can't watch our sports anymore because people pay to have these broadcasts. And when you go on TV to watch it, you can't watch it because they don't have the rights. You have to wait until 2:00 to watch it. And by 2:00, half of the people have played already. So it's just like, I want to talk about that next time we come on the show. I want to talk about golf and how buying rights for sporting activity have limited our access. Like they bought the rights for Indian Wells, which is a tennis tournament. But guess what? You can't watch all the matches.
Who bought the rights for Indian Wells?
I don't know. It was the tennis channel, but you couldn't watch the women's match. So you only go to the men's match because the men's match was on Stadium Court 1 and the women's was Stadium Court 2. And so you couldn't watch it because maybe it's on Tennis Channel 2. And that was an issue, And we're going to talk about it. We need to talk about Indian Wells. I have more to unpack. We'll talk about Indian Wells.
What about the videos? You were supposed to share some videos with us.
Although the lines, I remember I wanted to watch a men's match. It was an American that was playing. This Russian kid. Sorry, I call him Russian kid. Karen Kachanov. Everybody loved it. Ronaldo, the line was so long. It wrapped around. I walked up to somebody in line. I said, Are they giving away Lexuses in this line? Because the only way I would join this line is unless they're giving. You flew halfway across the country or the world. You spent $600, maybe $700 for a ticket. You rented a car, you for $500 or $300. You stayed in a hotel for another $1,000, and you paid $150 or $100 or $50 for a ticket, and you show up and you have to join these godforsaken lines, and you have to wait for 3 games before you get inside the tournament, or the lines is out the door, and now you're spending an hour or 2 hours waiting in line to get inside an event that you already have spent $5,000 to get to. That's the problem. That's my issue with Wells and most sporting events. That's the problem that they have to address. Okay, because to be honest with you, I'm not going back to Indian Wells. I am not going back there until they fix it.
Wow.
No.
You're not going back to Indian Wells?
Not going back. Not going
you wait, hold
it's
up. I mean,
paradise. They were like, it's tennis paradise. It's tennis paradise. It's beautiful. Renaldo, Paul and I went to the qualifiers, and we had fun at the qualifiers, which was free because they were and it was beautiful. But when you went on the tournament actually got on the way, you couldn't see how beautiful the venue was, because all you saw, there were so many people, you couldn't appreciate it. They sold more tickets than amount of get inside of the tournament. So if everybody wanted to get inside of a match that was playing, they could get in, because there were more people on the ground than people that could get into the tournament. I watch it on TV. I pay my cable bill. All right, $100 a month. That's it. Not going. Done it. Been there. Done that.
Oh my God! Thank you, guys. Thank you for making it the Neoliberal podcast. I'm Renaldo McKenzie, the host and the creator. And of course, this is the new series and the latest series of a new series we're doing. It's called The Pulse with Ricardo McKenzie, who is the executive producer of the show, and myself, Renaldo McKenzie, your host and creator of the Neoliberal. Ricardo, last words.
Well, I told you already, I'm never going back to Indian Wells. But last words is, we need to get back to 1 John 4, verse 16. You know, God is love, and he who dwelleth in love abideth in God, or abideth in love and love in him. We have to remember that this country was built on love, and we have forgotten the love of God, the love of each other. Yes, we have to get back to loving one another. The only way we're going to accomplish, and every decision we make should be made out of love. If you don't make decisions out of love but out of hate, you will never achieve your goal. I am telling you. All right. All right. So that's my last word.
Thank you so much. This is the Neoliberal podcast. And just remember, you can visit us at theneoliberal.com and RenaldoCMcKenzie.com. Visit our store page at store.theneoliberal.com, where you can check out our services, our solutions, and our products. And please remember, you can also visit, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, The Neoliberal Co., Facebook, The Neoliberal Corporation, and also on Instagram and Reddit and LinkedIn, The Neoliberal Corporation. Please let you know, you can get a copy of Neoliberalism, Globalization, Income Inequality, Poverty, and Resistance, which is available worldwide in all platforms. And just so you know, the Caribbean Thought Lecture Series is underway. We are at Lecture 6. Lecture 6 was released yesterday, or maybe tomorrow, I'm not sure, but just ahead of this particular show. Probably right after this show will be Caribbean Thought Lecture 6. It promises to be explosive. The students talk about Obia and African tradition and the lingering legacies of colonialism, and the fact that many Caribbean people think that Obia and African tradition is illegal today. So just the lingering legacies of colonialism. So check out the series. Also on Monday, Ricardo and I will be joined by Woodrow Wilson II, who is the CEO of Revere. He's a conservative and a Republican strategist. He has worked with several senators and Republicans and have helped to secure their wins. I understand. He will be on the show on Monday. The show will not be live. It will be delayed, and then we will release it probably later in the week. So there's a lot happening. We're very busy here. Continue to support the show. You can donate to us by going to anchor.fm/theneoliberal. You can also go to the Neoliberal website, theneoliberal.com, and go to our support page. We're all about serving the world today to solve tomorrow's challenges by making popular what was the monopoly. We say, what good? Thank you, Ricardo.
Oh,
yeah. That was great. That was really good. Finally, Finally, by the way, if you notice this, this is a regular, this going to be a regular every Saturday at 8 o'clock. If you go in your phone or if you click on it, you should set it on your phone. Every Saturday at 8 o'clock, there's a Zoom meeting. I've set it, it's going to be, it's going to repeat itself. So every Saturday at 8 o'clock. And next week, we are going to be live. We can be live on Zoom. We can also be live on various show. We're going to be live. We want to thank Georgetown University for giving us the opportunity for using their Zoom platform to provide the show as part of my dissertation reflections and by developing grassroots community shows that continue to inform the populace. Thank you so much, Georgetown. Continue to do all that you can to facilitate low or grassroots people to share their work and to contribute to the development of society. Thank you. All right, there we go. And I will end now. Take care, Ricky. It's gonna take me a lot. If I hope this recording is not long, because if it's long, it's gonna be a lot of work. Okay.
You're gonna have to fix it up. But now, you remind me of Kadeem Harrison with your hair.
I'm changing it tomorrow though.
Do you know who Kadeem Hardison is?
No.
He was dating Whitley and also Denise on A Different World from Where You Come From and Living Single. The guy that was in Living Single.
Oh my God. Dante's brother said the said the same thing. Let me share your screen. Let me see what he looks like. You're using your phone. You're using your phone. You're not using your computer.
Yeah.
Probably not easy. Okay. All right. Well, send it to me in my phone, and I want to see what this guy looks like. All right. Walk good. Take care.
Yeah, you have to look at it. Kadeem. Oh, he told you that? You remind me of someone else.
Yes. Dante's brother said, "Oh, you look like the guy on that what's his called? That same guy, Kadeem. What's his name?
Kadeem Hardison. He used to be on A Different World. He was dating Denise and Whitley, and also Living Single. And it's the guy that had the dreads.
Kadeem what? Hardison. But he don't have no dreads no more though.
No, okay, he's an older guy.
Oh no, okay, no, it wasn't him. He was saying I look like somebody else.
He looks different. He looks like a totally different person now because he's totally fat. He had the glasses that you flip up and down. Kadeem
said, "Oh my God, you are crazy!"
He looked like a totally different person now because now he's a fatso.
Oh yes, all these guys have gotten around.
You see him?
Yes, but I disagree with you. His hair was not like mine, was it?
It was at one point when he was in. I'm trying to find a
Kadeem Hardison? No.
Kadeem Hardison.
I'm looking at Kadeem Hardison. No, I disagree. I don't see. I don't look like Kadeem Hardison. I'm trying to find a picture of Kadeem Hardison. You're crazy.
Yeah, in 1997, he was in a movie called Drive.
Okay, that's the movie?
Yeah.
Let's see if I could find that movie I talked. Oh, okay. I see. Okay, I see what you're talking about here. Okay, I see. Okay.
I'm kind of looking at his.
Okay, I see what you're talking about here. I see it. I see what you're talking about here. Yes.
Yes,
I can
that's
see
it.
Okay.
Yes. That's it. Remember him? He was in
I remember him. I remember him.
Different World.
I never watched Drive. I've never watched Drive actually. I've never watched Drive.
Me either. Yes. So, who did he say you look like?
There's some other kid from another show. I can't remember.
It has to be him. He couldn't remember. It has to be him.
No, I don't know.
Just with the hair.
No, but the guy he said I look good. I said, okay, yeah, I can see me looking like him.
Who is it? I have to know who this guy is.
I'm gonna have to ask you. But signing out of the Neoliberal, signing out, and I'll call you back later. Take care. Remember, Monday we have a show on Monday at 3 o'clock. Okay.
Yeah, I have to fix that. All right, bye.